Are you back for good?
What do you mean? I'm right here.
Oh, you're so quiet.
I'm giving you your space so that you can figure it out.
That was a weird laugh I just had. I've never laughed like that. Okay.
Can you just do it again? A little bit?
It's like my version of a snort.
That would be a really sad place to be if you just found your own laugh hilarious. You got stuck for hours.
Yeah, you're just in a time loop of laughter. Oh, that'd be so painful, but yet so exhilarating.
I don't know. At a certain point, it would be like, you know how you're having convulsions in your chest? You're like, I can't breathe.
I know.
Stop.
Sometimes it hurts. I don't know. There's some things that you think are really going to be enjoyable, but they're horrible. Like tickling. Who likes tickling? I don't know. Like some kids will be like, tickle me. I'm like, how? Why? Why would you want
like
that?
tickling as like a punishment. Like
in
like to fight. Like if you get in a tickle fight, it's fun. Tickle fights are fun because you're trying to legitimately stop the other person because you don't want it to happen, but it's like the stakes are low, you know?
I guess.
The worst case you get tickled. And it's kind of like he stop.
That is the worst case. That is the worst case, is being tickled. I feel like being tickled is worse than like getting cut on your arm. That's a personal thing, but I love the silence. I'm like, oh, maybe I said too much.
Glad you realized that.
Yeah. Anyway.
And welcome to the No Kidding Podcast.
How's life, guys?
How do you feel about tickling?
Yeah.
Post in the comments.
I thought you left like a pause there for response. Like they can't actually respond, you know. But please let us know in the comments or reviews. By the way, I have no idea how to check reviews. I don't know if anybody's reviewed. I have no idea.
So if you've been reviewing, guess what? We don't care.
I do care, but I really don't. I have to figure it out because I'm new to this, I guess. But I know how to.
Well, on what platform? We're on multiple.
Okay, on iTunes.
Okay.
Because
I can't help you there.
Yeah.
That's not where I get my podcast.
That's the thing is like, well, I don't know how to do it on any platform, but I do know how to review. Like, I know how to put a review for someone else, but I don't know how to check, like, if anybody's reviewed yours. I don't know. Maybe it's the same. Good point. I'm working it out myself. Anyway, I'm Lisa.
Oh, I'm Steven.
Steven's here with us today. Ew, Steven Seagal. Is he alive still? Actually, yes. Steven Seagal was pretty cool. He had some moves, right?
I think he's still cool. Can I still like Steven Seagal? There was that whole situation where half of Hollywood was evil.
Oh, okay. Is he one of the evil ones? I don't know. It's hard to keep track anymore.
What happened? What's the first thing? Oh, I remember he had a weird thing where he came out. It was, yeah, some people are weirded out by him. He had a weird, I forget what it was. He was like in some way radical. Like he came out with some weird.
He was ostracized.
Stuff. Yeah, like he was just he is like fringe society at this point. Like he has some weird stuff. Like he has some weird videos where it's just like bizarre stuff.
Kind of like Woody Allen or who's that guy?
I guess.
I don't know.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Is he weird now? I don't know. Is he weird?
I think he's a cool guy. As far as I know, Jean-Claude Van Damme is still cool.
Yeah, whatever happened to all the, there was like this whole generation of fighters or like movie, like, what was the guy who did the karate? What was his name?
Well, if you're talking about like Bruce Lee.
Yeah, Bruce Lee. No, maybe Bruce Lee.
My thing is like I think all of the actors you're thinking of were inspired by the likes of Bruce Lee. Like True. I think there was a whole like era of children that were like, I'm gonna grow up to be a kung fu guy.
True.
And they took like a ton of kung fu. They like worked with stunt doubles or whatever, and then there was just like a massive amount of like actors out there that wanted to be like the kung fu fighting like action star, and Hollywood was like, all right, well, we'll crank out some action movies.
Yeah, that's true. I do feel like movies, and I guess this is probably true for every generation, but I feel like movies were really good when I was growing up, but they're not all so great now, but maybe they're just different.
I think there's a lot more. So I think
maybe that's it.
I would say there's probably more good movies, but they're harder to find because I think movies are more niche now. Like they're able to target like more specific like types of people. Like, oh, we're gonna tell a story about a hamster that is an accountant.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Right.
it's just like, who is this movie for?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Somebody.
you make a good point. That
Somebody out there is like, yes.
Yeah, you make a good
Like
point.
Boss Baby. What the hell was that movie about? Who pitched that and was like, what studio was like, yes, yeah.
I don't know.
That sounds like a great movie.
That's true.
It probably was okay. I never saw it.
I heard it was good. But I haven't seen it either. There's a lot of movies that I probably should watch that I haven't seen, like Lilo and Stitch. People love that movie.
Oh my god, that movie's amazing. What's wrong with you?
Seen that? I don't know.
How do you even?
How do I even live in this world?
You don't even know about Pudge.
You're right. I have no idea what that means. But yeah, so I was.
He controls the weather. You know, there is a whole Lilo and Stitch, it's both Lilo and Stitch. It's a Lilo and Stitch TV series. It was good.
Okay. So it's a TV series. I thought it was a movie.
No, it's a movie. But I'm saying there was a TV series after the movie.
Oh,
and I liked it. It was good. It was a good idea. And I liked Experiment 625, was it?
Wow.
Yeah, it was the one. It was
specific.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Is this a spoiler? I guess I can't talk about it. You should watch Lilo and Stitch.
You could definitely tell me. I mean, it's been out forever.
Yeah, but I mean,
speaking of,
have you been spoiled? Well, basically,
no.
Stitch is an experiment. I guess that's not a weird because that's revealed in the beginning of the movie. It's
an experiment. He's like a Frankenstein.
Yeah, and so there was the show basically. He's Experiment 626 was his designation in the movie. So the show was basically exploring what the other 662 or 65 experiments were.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah.
So what happened to them? Are they just like
that's the
taking
whole
over the planet?
They're a whole.
So they're bad.
Each of them has their own unique story.
Oh.
Well, they were created by a evil scientist. So,
is Lilo? Is it Stitch or Lilo? Stitch?
Well, look, we're getting into spoilers now.
Okay,
can't help you.
Well, see, I don't even know the difference. Like, who's who? I know what they look like. Well, I know what the animal looks like. The purple guy, right? That's Stitch. Right?
That's Lilo.
Oh, that's Lilo. I just need to watch it. Okay.
Yeah, there's the girl Stitch.
Really? That doesn't make sense. Not that it would make sense the other way, but it just sounds more like an animal when you say Stitch, especially if he was stitched together like Frankenstein. Does that make sense? Okay.
Sure.
That's where I'm going with
that. If you say so.
The other guy I was thinking of was Jet Li as the
yes.
Yeah, he was awesome.
I saw him in a movie the other day and I was like, I thought he retired.
Yeah, I thought he did too. Did you saw him in a movie?
I guess I remember he said that it was some movie and it was like Jet Li's last like kung fu epic or something, but it was like I guess he's still going to be an actor, but he's not going to do like big kung fu epic movies or something. He's just going to be like weird side character. Like it was in Mulan. He was in Mulan.
Oh, well, that's like a cartoon though, right?
No, the live action one. The new one.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Oh, I bet that's good.
And he totally reminded me of his character in The Mummy. So I was like, just like from the costume perspective.
Really? Yeah, he was pretty cool. So the big thing going around right now is the WandaVision. Have you seen that?
I have.
You have? Did you like it?
Start to finish. Yeah. I don't know. Like I feel like the first couple episodes are very divisive. Like some people love them or hate them, kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Like, but it's a really good show. I think. I guess I don't know. You just got to be a little more patient, or at least appreciate like older TV, because basically the first two episodes are like they're almost like lost episodes of I Love Lucy or something. Like,
really?
There's very little that's anything other than just like a weird like 1950s sitcom.
Okay.
And they just kind of like hint at things, and then it starts to like open up more as the season goes on.
All right.
It's interesting. It's worth watching, especially if you like Marvel stuff. Obviously, it like ties in a lot to the Marvel. So
I was going to ask, because I haven't heard a lot about it. I've just heard people saying, "Oh, it's so good, but I don't really know like a ton about it. But is this the kind of history of that? Do they talk about? Is that what it is? It's like they're talking about, I guess like what is it called? Like the story of the Marvel characters or whatever.
Like the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I forget what the word
like,
I'm thinking of.
It's pretty much just a story about Wanda and Vision.
Oh.
So Wanda Maximoff is the Scarlet Witch, and Vision is like another kind of superhero guy, and so they're kind of an item. Mm-hmm. And it's basically just a backstory. Well, not even backstory. It's actually takes place. It's the most recent part of their story, but I guess it's it flushes out their story more, because like they never had a movie or anything of their own.
Right.
Like they're always characters that were present in other people's movies that were the stars. Like they were Age of Ultron was when they both entered the scene. It was in Avengers when all the other actors were much more the main stars, like Tony Stark and Thor, and everybody was like the main people, and they were kind of the background. So this is more like they're the first thing that's just about them. Okay.
So they are like credible withstanding Marvel characters. They've just never, people just don't know about them because they've never had.
It's kind of like if you've seen like Scarlett Johansson's like Black Widow character. Yeah. Have you ever seen that? Yeah. Like she hasn't had a movie yet. She's getting one now, but up until this point, like, I mean, she's been in like a lot of them. Like,
so is she gonna play that character, or just the character is getting a movie?
The character, is getting, and it's her playing it.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So there's a lot of characters like that. It's just like Marvel is such like a big thing that like there's so many characters and stuff. They can't really do like a big feature film for all of them. At least they haven't been able to up to this point. Right. So it's just, they're doing more of them. So there's like just I think they have a Loki movie now. They have a Black Widow movie, and they're now doing the show with Wanda and Vision. So they're kind of just branching out more and like exploring more of the like other characters that are really interesting but haven't gotten their own movie. Hulk hasn't. Well, actually, technically, Hulk has a movie in the MCU, but it's not with the actor that plays him now.
Yeah, I mean they've had a Hulk movie forever. Like, yeah,
but that was technically the first movie is a Hulk movie, but it's one of those that like most people don't even know it's in the MCU. Like there's other characters in that movie that exist still. You almost never see them, and the Hulk that is in the MCU now is not the Hulk that was in that movie. So the guy that played him, Ed Norton, is not the guy that plays him now.
Oh, well, what about Lou Ferrigno? Because wasn't he like the original Hulk?
Yeah, he was like the original Hulk. Yeah, but obviously that's technically not in like the current MCU.
Okay.
That was in Marvel, obviously, but it's kind of like how the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is like in the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man haven't been in, but actually that's also changing.
That's also complicated.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I'm kind of a farewell player, watcher or whatever. Not player, but so I don't know a lot about it, but I enjoyed them in my youth. I remember watching all those movies
when I was a youngin'.
When I was a youngin', and I would watch Spider-Man.
Wait, so like what do you mean? Like which movies?
Well, like Batman, Spider-Man.
So like superhero movies.
Yeah, just in general.
Yeah.
So
like the Batman movies with like Michelle Pfeiffer and Danny DeVito.
Of course, yeah.
As like Catwoman and Mr. Penguin and George Clooney. What was your favorite Batman? Was it Val Kilmer? George Clooney?
I think it was what's his name? Christian Bale.
Oh, okay. So the Nolan films?
Yeah, I guess so. But I also liked George Clooney.
Christopher Nolan.
So that is a tough one. I kind of liked them all, but just differently.
Mr. Freeze was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Go on.
Yeah, I think my least favorite of them was Val Kilmer, but I don't know.
Don't Val Kilmer.
No, because I love Val Kilmer in other movies, but I don't know.
Are you going to watch the new Top Gun?
Of course.
You're all about it?
I loved Top Gun when I was a kid. It was one of my favorite movies.
Well, you didn't watch the MCU, and you were saying how much fun you had as a kid watching superhero films.
I don't know what the MCU is.
I've been talking about the MCU this whole time.
Oh, I thought it was like a organization for Marvel characters.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. It's the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay, so I mean, I probably haven't seen them all, but I've seen some of them.
Yeah, like the Iron Man or whatever.
I've definitely seen Iron Man. That's a great one. But that's the thing is, like, I'll get in this. For me, I have to be in the mood to be like invested in that kind of a film, because you definitely have to alter a lot of your realistic perceptions of like you're really going into a world here. It's not like, I don't know. So it's...
Yeah. I mean, it's fantastical, but I think they bridge that line. They walk that line pretty finely, because they have to be able to make it fantastical enough to bring in like some crazier characters. Like Doctor Strange is basically a wizard.
Right. True.
But then also they're dealing with like Tony Stark, who's like supposed to be like a very like realistic, gritty, like a guy who just built a machine that makes him like powerful.
Yeah.
So
true. So
these two sides of the coin.
Right. But here's the thing. Like, so my thing is like, I get into that world, and then I feel compelled to continue that journey. And it's such a long journey. There's so many movies now that I feel almost overwhelmed. So like I'm like afraid.
It's not that long. I mean, if you compare it to like TV shows.
I guess not. But I've always been like, okay, well, which one should, like, I want to watch this one, but am I missing something if I start here? Do I have to go all the way back? Can I just watch them when, like, out of order? That kind of stuff. So then I'm like, oh, this is too much. I'm just going to pick something easy and watch The Twilight Zone.
Wait, the old Twilight Zone?
Yeah, we've been watching them. We watched through it all a couple times, but we're back on it a little bit. So we just watched the Wish Him to the Field one where the little boy. Have you seen them?
I've seen. This is one of those that I've seen, like those, ad hoc episodes, but I haven't ever like watched them all in order or anything.
Well, you don't have to watch them in order. They're kind of all their own. Each story is like a whole nother universe.
Yeah, of course.
So
that's what's so great about it.
Yeah, and it's surprising how relevant they still are. Like how it's kind of. I think we talked about it before. How it's kind of like the first version of like the Black Mirror kind of weird scenarios of what could happen. Like, and you try to figure out the story. It's kind of a mystery, but also you never really know what's going on. But then until the end, and then at the end they reveal it, but they don't give any resolution. So you're kind of left with your own thoughts on it. Like, oh, that was like, what do I think about this? It's very cool. I highly recommend it. Yeah, I highly recommend it. And so this one that we watched was about a boy who basically runs this town because everything that he thinks comes true.
Oh, I think I remember that one.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's been a plot in a lot of things, but
maybe. I don't know.
I remember. Oh, wait. I remember that being in a movie. Well, that was in Supernatural, wasn't it? There was a kid he was like part god or something, and he lived out in like Nebraska, and everything he wished for came true. Anyways.
Oh, really? Yeah, they probably got it from that because it's kind of like a small rural town. And anyway, so if he doesn't like somebody, he would just wish them away, and they would disappear forever.
Nice.
And so yeah, it's kind of creepy. But then he can also turn them into things. Like he turned one of the guys into like this creepy thing, and everybody start crying, and everyone's like, why isn't anybody killing him? Because like he's basically destroying the whole town. He's killing everybody. Well, he's disappearing everybody. And I don't know, like he's controlling all of the adults because the adults will do anything for him because if they upset him, So it's kind of like covering this is what happens when you give kids control. And then also like, well, we can't kill him because he's a kid, like they still have this like protective instinct because they're adults, and right. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But that was the last one we watched. But there's tons of them. There's so many. There's some that are way better than that. There's like, I don't know, very thought-provoking ones. So I'm watching that.
I did the math.
For what?
65 hours.
For what?
65 hours is the total runtime of the entire series of the entire original series of The Twilight Zone.
That's a lot of time.
It's only 50 hours to watch every MCU movie. So don't talk to me about how little time you
You really went in there. I have nothing to say. I can't argue that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, did you see
those expert arguments? Go on.
So on Netflix, I also watched the Vanishing at Cecil Hotel, and remember we talked about that at a previous episode. And
I could have some Cecils.
I'm pretty sure Cecil's is
it's a barbecue place here.
Yeah, Cecil's is such a good barbecue place. I haven't eaten there forever. I'm pretty sure they're even owned by different people now. But anyways,
gotta go try that Texas toast. Make sure it's still good.
Yeah. Oh, yum.
There's a brewery right behind it now.
Do they still give away
that kind of thing?
Is there?
Yeah, Rock Pit.
Oh, I didn't know that. Huh. That place
good stuff.
Yeah, that area is really developing. But anyways, yeah. So it's you talked about it. I don't know if you talked about it on the podcast. I think you did, or we were just talking about it. But it was about you were talking about how you dove into, I think it was Reddit or something, and they were talking about mysteries. One
of those things I'm on.
Yeah. They're like mysterious stories. No. And you were talking about the girl who was at this hotel and then she went missing and they couldn't find her and then they found her.
I think about her all the time. Oh, it's so weird.
Really?
Yeah, it's just one of those things that like I think up, like it just comes up in my mind sometimes, like especially if I get in an elevator or something.
Oh yeah.
Like, what was she doing? Like
Whoa.
I remember just seeing that video that was so bizarre where it looked like she was talking to somebody or something, but then she like would randomly run back in the like elevator and act like she was hiding and like cower in the corner, but the elevator wasn't responding. It was like any elevator I've ever been in like closes, you know,
right.
After like a couple seconds or like something.
So
and it's like she wasn't attempting to hit anything on the button panel, and it was like so weird. It's a weird.
It was
video.
very bizarre, and they cover all of that. Anyway, it's a show on up. They've covered. It's basically
it's about that
documentary on it, and it's called Vanishing at Cecil Hotel, and it was kind of fascinating. And they go through like her whole story and like how she.
I forgot the name of the hotel. That's why. And it's the name of such a good barbecue place. Maybe I just like I separated the two in my mind, so I didn't think about it every time I go into Cecil's.
I'm sure you did. You categorized. Yeah, you categorized.
Thanks,
it.
Lisa.
Well, sorry. It's gonna taste real yummy when you drink that water.
Continue so that people know what you're talking about.
But then they also give the history of the hotel, and the hotel has had like a crazy amount of things happen there, like tons of deaths, tons of disappearances, tons of like quote unquote ghost stories, like all these different things that happen there. And anyway, so it's the whole documentary of like the hotel and then the girl and what happened. And they talk about I
love those super well produced things that like really dive into a topic that's like so absurd that you know like there's nothing there, but at the end somehow you're like, it's real. Ghosts are real. This is a thing. Aliens are upon us.
I don't know. It's true. But the craziest thing about it to me was that, which I didn't even like think about because I saw this movie. There's a movie out that came out a while ago, and it's basically about this woman and her little girl, and they have to move into this hotel or like run down like apartment buildings or something, and they have this scene in an elevator where it's like this creepy stuff happens in the elevator, and then the girl, the same exact, and she's wearing a red coat, which is what the girl in the hotel is wearing, like, and then the exact same death occurs with her, with the little girl. Wow. So it was like they were basically saying it was so eerie how similar the two things were. Anyway, I highly recommend it. It's an interesting, I don't want to give too much away, like, because it's a well-known story, so it probably doesn't matter if I say anything, but in case anybody doesn't know, it's kind of nice to let the reveal happen. See, okay, do you care if you get a spoiler alert for something, or a spoiler for something?
Like related to this?
Or anything, like if you're...
Generally, yeah, I attempt to avoid them.
If you go into a movie, yeah, okay, so you're pretty normal. So...
Thank you. Thanks.
You're welcome. There are people out there who...
Lisa says I'm pretty normal.
Well, we are related.
She said no.
Aww. She's going to say, you're related. Of course she thinks you're normal.
Of course she thinks you're normal. She's crazier than you.
Thanks. That was not good. Yeah, so there are people out there who actually like knowing the ending of things before they watch it or read it or whatever.
I know. I've run into people like that have been like, I've been like, oh, I watched this. It's really good. And they're like, oh, how does it end? And I'm like, well, just watch it. And they're like, no, like, how does it end? Like, is it one of those where it ends with like the twist and it's a guy? And I'm like, just watch the movie. It's good. And they're like, just tell me how it ends. Come on. They'll get like annoyed with me that I won't tell them how it ends. I'm like, just watch the movie. Like, pretend I didn't tell you I know how this movie ends.
It's crazy to me because that's like the whole point of watching the movie to me. I'm like, the whole thing is getting into the movie and then riding the wave of, and then you can rewatch the movie if you want with the knowledge and see if it presents differently. But I always feel like, anyway,
you only get one time watching it without knowing how it ends. Well, unless you're very forgetful.
True. Well, I am. So yeah, like that happens to me all the time.
Sometimes you watch, you're like, that was amazing. Wait, I remember that ending.
Yeah, I remember this movie halfway in. But yeah, so Mike's like that. My boyfriend's like that. And So you know the movie Sixth Sense,
Uh-huh.
which is a notorious movie for not knowing the ending before you watch.
Yeah, except
the
everybody
movie.
does because the joke is to spoil it.
Well, yeah. So when that movie was out in theaters back in the day, he was like, he hadn't seen it, and everybody had already seen it, and everyone's like talking about it or whatever. And they're like, go see it. You got to go see it. And he's like, just tell me what it's about. And they're like, okay, well, we'll tell you a little bit, but we can't spoil it for you. And he's like, no, I want you to tell me. He loves knowing. And even when we're watching movies, he will look up the end. He will look up everything about the movie. He will look up the characters. He'll look up the storyline. He'll look up like the history, like everything while we're watching. I'm like, please just
It's like you're turning your life into reruns.
I don't know what it is.
It's like, honestly, I don't ever want to have a first run. I only want to watch reruns.
I know. And anyway, so somebody ended up telling him the end of Sixth Sense because he basically forced them to. And he's like, yeah, I'm so glad you told me because the whole movie was so much better knowing what I knew throughout the movie. I'm like,
I mean,
really?
I that is a movie that I think would be, but one of the benefits of it is I think you could watch that movie twice because you watch it the first time and then you say, hang on a minute, what? And then you like rewatch it and you're like, it all makes sense.
I know,
so it's like,
that's the thing.
He basically lost half that movie because he
lost half the experience.
Really, it's a 4-hour movie that just you just gotta restart it.
Exactly. So I don't know. It was just like, I don't get it. But yeah, to each his own. Another thing, speaking of like knowing things, I recently watched a movie on Netflix called The Map of Tiny Perfect Things. Have you seen that? I kind of found it by accident, and I didn't want to get involved in a whole TV series, and I was looking for something new to watch, and I was like, you know what? I haven't watched a movie in a while, and this is only like an hour and a half or whatever of my time, so that's perfect. And then I don't have to commit to anything, so I was like, I'll try it out.
Seems like you have commitment issues is what we're getting at. You have entertainment commitment issues. Yeah,
kind of, because once I get involved in a series, it's like, I really can't do anything until I finish the series. I'm just like, I'm kind of an all or nothing person. So when I get involved in something, I have to see it to the end or until I move on to the next thing. So I was like, I'm not really ready to make that kind of commitment. But anyways, so this movie was actually really cute. It's basically about, it's kind of like the whole Groundhog Day thing where this boy, he's in high school and he's stuck in his town and the day just keeps reliving itself over and over again.
Oh, man.
And he's the only one that knows that. And so anyways, this whole time he's trying to, well, he interacts with the town and, you know, he's trying to figure out what to do. He goes through different things. He learns things. I don't know. And then he goes to he basically goes to the same places every day and he does the same things, but like a little bit differently, but like, so he knows exactly what's going to happen in every spot at a certain time. And there's this one girl he's trying to, I guess, hook up with or whatever. And so he goes to the pool at the same time as her, and she gets hit in the face with a ball every time and almost falls into the pool. So he tries to time it so that he can catch her before she falls, so that she'll like, you know, yeah.
And he'll
so
do the whole Prince Charming, Mr. Romance.
Yeah, exactly. So it worked, and I mean, like it worked where he caught her, and then she's like, "Oh, thank you," and then he's like, "Yeah," and then he tries to like hit on her and pick her up or whatever.
Hey,
and she's like not having it. So
she's like, okay.
Then, yeah, so he's like, "Oh, well, okay, that didn't work." So then the next time he tries it, the ball's coming, and then a girl catches the ball, and he's like, "Whoa, that's never happened before."
Is there somebody else trapped in the time loop?
Who's this girl? Yeah. So it turns out there's only 2 people in the whole town that are aware, and she's the other person.
He didn't know the whole time.
Right. He never knew, and she didn't know. So he follows her.
I feel like I would find they would find me pretty quick because like on day 3 I'd start blowing stuff up.
True, but you never know what like that one time it's going to be the actual time that things are real.
Right.
I don't know. So anyway, so then they have this whole storyline where they try to figure out what's going on, and you can imagine how it unfolds, but it's a cute story. It's really interesting.
It does sound cool.
It's not super cheesy or anything, so I recommend it.
You should watch, in a similar vein, Edge of Tomorrow.
I think I've seen that.
It's got Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I more than likely have seen it, but I'll check it out.
It's a really good movie. Like 10 out of 10. One of the best.
Is it the one where it's a loop? Is there another loop? Yeah, okay, yeah, I have seen that. I've pretty much seen it all time warp time travel.
All the time movies. I've seen them
Not all of them, but it's a pretty big interest of mine. So I'm like, if I see something like that, I think
you see Primer.
I have. I've seen. Yeah, I have.
Can you explain it to me?
No, it's a very weird movie. So
I've looked at the diagrams a couple times.
Have you?
It's one of those.
I didn't get that deep.
It's one of those things that you gotta. That's another one that you gotta rewatch. But the second one doesn't glean much more information. You just have to kind of be like, wait a minute, hang on. If I keep this handy chart next to me, and so that's the guy. Okay, now he's in this timeline. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
That's a tough one.
It is hard to keep track of, but yeah.
You want
so
other shows
ones.
like that, Dark. You gotta have a chart to watch Dark.
Oh, really? I'm trying to think of what Dark
is.
It's
very complex. It's a German show.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that. Yeah. Is it? Are they coming back? Because I feel like...
They finished. Yeah. I've watched to the end. I think I talked about this in a previous podcast.
Oh, yeah. I definitely watched them all, but for some reason I can't remember.
Maybe you didn't watch them all.
No, I definitely did.
I mean, the last season was like this year.
I know. Yeah, I know. My brain just doesn't function. We know this. My retention is like poor. I have to like be reminded, and then I'm like, oh yeah.
Reading retention, Lisa.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible. I actually was listening to a podcast on how to improve your memory, and I really need to take those suggestions into consideration.
You just can't remember them.
Yeah, just can't. They said something to do something, and I don't know.
You know what? I've been watching a lot of very soothing content recently. I don't know, something about it's like just on YouTube, putting on something that's like especially like a craft video. Like cooking's the best, but also like I've watched like bushcraft or like metalworking or woodworking. Oh, also oddly, chiropractic videos really do it for me.
Oh, I've seen a couple on
people
TikTok.
Getting their backs cracked and stuff. I'm like, oh, I can almost feel it myself. I'm like, it's nice.
There's this whole chiropractic channel. And so my boyfriend's cousin is a chiropractor, and they kind of joked about it. Mm-hmm. But anyway, the whole entire channel is this guy. He's a chiropractor, but every single one of his patients are like beautiful women.
Yeah. No,
and he's like,
this is a common theme.
Yeah, he's like, that's not realistic. Like, how is he like, there's
Here's
like zero old people or whatever.
There are videos of like legit chiropractors that just like, here's a random like a patient of mine, and they're just like random sampling of people. But there's also channels that's like, for some reason all of his patients are like hot yoga chicks.
Yeah.
That are like in their athleisure, and they're just like, oh yeah, like I'm a cheerleader for the Cowboys, and yeah, just like my hips a little out of place. It's weird. So and he just like grabs her buddies like this, and I'm like, wait a minute, what am I watching here?
This just turned hard real fast. That's so funny.
Yeah, it's weird how they like, I don't know, like they've keyed into like whatever it is that's like relaxing about chiropractic videos, but then they're also doping it with like the hot girl like clickbait.
True.
It's weird.
I know. It's funny though, because it's like, I mean, not to say that younger people don't need chiropractic work. There's definitely, especially if you're super athletic or whatever. But I would think that the majority of people who go to get work, are people that are older, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
maybe honestly, some of the best ones I've seen are like pro athletes and stuff. Like there's people they're like pitchers and stuff. They're like after a big game, they'll come in and they'll be like, yeah, I was going real hard because it was like the playoff or whatever, and now like my arm's all locked up. So
yeah, I have
and watching someone, because you always see them like go from a certain range of motion to like a little bit better, and it's like that feels so good.
That's true. I always think, because maybe it's because when you crack your knuckles or whatever, I feel like when you start cracking things, it's almost like you make it worse, and now you constantly have to crack it to make it feel better.
It's weird. It's like you know what it is now, and your joint becomes like more easily cracked. So it's like, why not just I've had that weird, and it's kind of freaking me out because recently my most recent one is cracking my chest.
Yeah, I crack everything,
and so it's weird now because like sometimes I wake up and I have like a pain in my chest. I'm like, oh God, am I dying? And then I'm like, oh, I just have to reach my arms back, and I feel a pop like right in the center. I'm like, oh yeah, that's nice.
So you wonder, like, the first time you cracked your chest, did that cause you to have to crack your chest all the time now? Or would you have never had to crack your chest if you'd never done it?
I
don't know. Because it
Weird.
loosened up all of the synovial fluid or whatever it is. I don't know, but have you ever been to a chiropractor?
No.
Oh,
Only voyeuristically. It's a totally vicarious pastime.
Yeah, it's a very weird experience, and I don't know, like
unpleasant. Would you say?
Well, I don't really like that kind of physical. It's very like
you like people
weird.
jerking you around.
Yeah, it's strange, and I'm not necessarily convinced that it helps me, but that's just me, my particular like situations. But I'm sure it helps.
Do you enjoy like massages and stuff?
Not really. I mean, I can enjoy it. Like I've been to there was a girl that I used to go see at the Massage and Be over by the Target there in Soho. Mm-hmm. She was amazing. Like I went to 2 before that, and I swore I would never go to see a massage again. Like I was in pain. It was terrible. She was like blonde, or I can't. Like she was shorter and blonde, and she was really nice. But she's not there anymore. Like she left, and that's why I haven't gotten one since. Because when she left, I was like,
there you go.
And I actually hadn't seen her in probably like 2 years.
You should have just been like, hey,
I know. I only saw her twice, but I was like, but both times I was like, I have to have that girl because it was, I don't know why it was so different than the other 2 times that I went. Because the first 2 times I went, there were gifts. So I kind of just went to a place and was like, oh, this should be okay or nice or whatever. It was torture. I hated it. I was
really?
Yeah. I was like, get me out of here. I don't know what is going on. Yeah, but then I went to that girl for some reason. I don't remember. I think I was like really sore or something. And I thought, my body could probably use this, because they do say that
this isn't for me. It's for my body.
Well, yeah, like for health reasons, because they do say that getting massages regularly is super beneficial to your blood flow, to your muscle, the oxygen in your muscles, and just it's really good for your health to do that like pretty regularly. So I was like, oh, I never go, so maybe this will be good for me. And it was amazing. I was like, is this what it's supposed to be like? I was so in heaven, and yeah.
See? It's good.
It was so good.
If it wasn't so expensive, I'd do it like all the time.
I know.
I wish I could like afford a full-time masseuse, and then just like whenever when normally you get up from your chair and you're like, I gotta stretch a little bit. It's like, oh, let me just go get a quick 20-minute massage. That'd be
nice.
Excellent.
It's really the only reason you need money.
Yeah, I basically, if I were a millionaire, I'd live in a shack and just have like 10 personal masseuses.
Well, I would have a masseuse and a cook. Those are the 2 things.
Yeah, a cook would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be about it.
How are you doing improving yourself in 2021? You sticking
improving myself?
Like, I don't know. Didn't you have some things you wanted to do in 2021?
Yeah, doesn't everybody? No, yeah, I'm trying to be more diligent about like being mindful about just certain systems and stuff that I have in place, like my note taking and just getting certain projects in order and like moving, like rather than stagnating. And sometimes they get that backlog. It's tough, but
true.
It's hard to justify it when it's like, oh, I had this whole day at work and now like what am I just gonna like do more productive things?
Gosh, no.
Also, I'm like in a golden age of games right now. Like everything I've played and done recently, like I finished also TV shows. Like I finished several TV shows recently that were amazing, and then I finished Cyberpunk, which was awesome.
Oh yeah,
it's an amazing game.
Cool.
Intense ending, and just recently I quote unquote beat Hades, which is another awesome game. Highly recommend. So I don't know. Like,
do you feel accomplished?
Yeah, and like for entertainment wise, yeah, definitely. And it just like, oh, gosh, it was so good. Like every time I got off work, I was like, gotta get back to escaping out of the underworld.
That's such a good feeling when you have that thing when you're not consumed with responsibilities. When you're like, oh, I can't wait to do this thing. Such a good feeling. Yeah. Oh, that's good. How's the wedding planning going?
Oh, it's good. Yeah, we have gotten to dealing with the officiant and stuff, so good stuff. We have a lot of great stuff lined up. We got the website all in order. If you want to, like, we're going to, when we send out invitations, you can like recommend songs and stuff. That'd be cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I was going to ask you, I'm rewinding back to the improving of the things because you mentioned note taking. So I've been loving Notion since we brought that up.
Oh, I thought you switched off of it for like.
I went back to notes for a little bit just because it was just like a little bit more convenient for the time. Okay. But then I realized it's convenient for little things, but not for more detailed things. So anyways, like, you know, like daily lists or something. But I found, and I don't know, I haven't really fully explored Notion, but I do find it a little bit more complicated than your average thing. And so I found this one called Asana. Have you heard of that?
Asana? No,
yeah.
I haven't.
And one thing that I like about it is it integrates with, well, you can connect other people to it too. So like, let's say, you know, I want to make a list about the house that both Mike and I need to see or whatever, and we can both access it. But also, I like that it has a calendar feature. So you can pull up your calendar and basically see every single thing, color coordinated and everything. I don't know. I really loved just the look of it, really.
Yeah, well, aesthetic is an important part of it.
Yeah. I mean, just like for my visual organizational brain where I can see it all in one place. Whereas like Notion, you have tabs and you have to go to each individual tab and you know, it breaks down farther and farther, which is good. But I also like to have the feature of kind of seeing, like coming farther out and seeing everything all together. Big picture. Yeah, the big picture. So I don't know. Yeah. I might try it out. I'll give you a review if I think of it. But
cool. Okay. Keep me posted.
Yeah.
As far as like the, I don't know, stuff that I'm trying to be diligent about. I've gotten some activities that I want to try from my relaxing, like soothing content that I watch on YouTube. Uh-huh. Like now it's producing stress in a way because I watch a cooking video and now I want to try and make like lapa paratha, which is like an Indian bread that is amazing. And I had it at Hawker's recently. They call it roti, which I guess it is similar dough, but slightly different process. Uh-huh. But yeah, it's like this, it's like almost doughy in the center, but super crisp and flaky on the outside.
Is it kind of like the naan bread?
It is similar to naan, yeah.
Oh, I love that bread.
Yeah, it's cooked a little differently, but
okay.
It almost makes it like it's like if naan were made into like a flaky Pillsbury dough kind of way.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
And then
good.
if you make like a curry dip sauce for it.
Yeah. That sounds so delicious. Good. Oh gosh.
And then like
hungry.
I've been really into banh mi's and I saw a recipe for one recently. I guess I've been into a lot of Asian food.
What's banh mi?
Banh mi's are like Vietnamese subs basically. They have like usually like pickled carrots and daikon radish, and I usually get like the vegan ones, so they have like jackfruit and stuff in them.
Okay.
And,
Yum.
yeah, they're pretty good. They come in like a kind of like, just imagine like a French baguette split open and just kind of like stuffed with
delicious goodness.
Yeah. And it usually comes with cilantro though, which I normally don't like, but I'll usually leave and jalapenos.
Okay.
So those are the powerful kickers in there. You can pull them out if you want. I usually pull off because I could almost allow like a little bit of cilantro flavor in that sandwich, but they always put a sprig. Like they tear off like a whole branch of it and just shove it in there. So like when you bite into it and start to pull, like it'll pull out the whole branch of cilantro. It's kind of wild. But other than that, they're really good.
Yeah, that's good. It's funny because I think we're like in sync sometimes, I feel like. And I've recently looked up a recipe to make naan bread, which is similar to yours, which I didn't even know yours existed. But now that I do, I want to make that too. But it seemed like a pretty easy recipe. So I was like, yeah, I really got to try that. And then also I've been loving Asian food lately. And specifically, I've been craving pad thai like crazy. And I had sushi the other night for the first time in probably years. Because I was just like, you know what? I feel like sushi, which is very unlike me. But
weird.
I was like, I'm going to do that.
You're not a fish person.
I know, but it's weird I've been learning so much about omega-3s and how good it is for your brain. So I've been trying to incorporate, I think I've told you this, or I was telling Larvin, or I was telling Angela, I don't remember. Somebody in that unit I was talking to, and basically just describing the benefits of omega-3 to your brain and how important it is. So I was like, but I don't eat fish, and I don't like fish oil tablets because, or like the, what are they called? Yeah, the pills.
omega-3 tablets, yeah.
Like
packed with fish oil, basically.
They, like, you taste fish all day. And so I was like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
What could I do? But I do like salmon and I do like tuna. So, like, the tuna fish, canned tuna fish. So I was like, that's, like, basically the only kind of way I'm going to get it. But then I found this product that makes it into a smoothie. And it also has vitamin D. So it has omega-3s and vitamin Ds, and it's a smoothie.
Oh, man, you should try putting in some oat milk as well. That has omega-3s in it.
Oat milk does?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I drink oat milk. I didn't know it had omega-3.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe
at least the kind I get, that's like the... they always put really big on it. It's not that much, but like they obviously are oh my God, it's got omega-3s in it.
Cool. I'll have to check that out. There are like specifically 2 types of omega-3s that are like best for your brain. And so I'll have to check to see if those are, because they have ones, it did say that you can get it through animal product or plant product. So it's possible. I don't know. I'll check into it.
There you go.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah. So basically we're in sync. And another thing I was going to say.
I had pad thai just the other day, yesterday.
Did you really?
Dude, pad thai.
I'm so jealous.
That's not that weird because I have pad thai like once a week.
Really?
But,
yeah. Where do you go?
A spice thai. It's really good. Okay. It's near the airport.
Nice. But another thing was like I was trying to experiment with some cooking and try new spices that I found. And I don't know if they're Asian spices or more, because I think they were being used in a curry, so maybe they are. But they're actually more on the sweeter side, but they're definitely savory, but they're like a sweeter savory. And anyways, and I can't find them anywhere because I don't know, Publix doesn't carry stuff like that. And if they do, I have no idea where to find it. So I'm at a standstill with that. And
what were they called? Or did you just
one was sumac. I think it's sumac seasoning.
Oh yeah, that's a big like Indian cuisine type.
Okay. And the other one was it started with an H. It was like Hassa or Hassana.
Hassa Arena?
I'll check right now. Oh, harissa.
Harissa. Okay.
Harissa seasoning. Anyways, so it was like the way that the girl that was making the recipe, she used it in like a marinade for she was using tofu, but it was supposed to like be like a curry type of a marinade. But when I researched it, when I looked it up, it like the seasonings that were in it suggested that it was like more of a sweeter. I don't know. It just sounded really good. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm trying new things, trying to add a little bit extra spice into my life.
Yeah, honestly, I think like roti or the lapa paratha would be pretty good place to start, just because like I was most impressed because the dough for it was like the most simple thing. It's just like flour and water, and then basically at the end you just need in a little bit of olive oil just if you want to like soften it up a little bit. And that's pretty much just all you need to make roti.
So it's called roti. Is it R-O-D-Y?
R-O-T-I.
O-T-I. Okay.
I think. Yeah, it's pretty good. I've more had the lapa paratha, which is basically roti, but kind of like layered a little more. So it takes a little longer to make because you got to layer it. But it is not that much more difficult, and it is so good. At least the version I've had at Hawker's. I'm going to try and recreate it, but I'm going to try and recreate it without a ton of butter. Or, well, they use ghee, at least the recipe I was following. So that'll be interesting. Trying to do it without that. We'll see if it's possible. I might have to get creative. Maybe some pumpkin, what do you call it? Pureed pumpkin. Okay. They always say that's a good substitute for butter, so I might try.
Yeah, it's also really good for your digestion. So I used to give that to my dogs, too, when they would get upset stomachs. And it would help, like, calm them down.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
And also, it's not as much of a, like... it's not as overpowering as I think. Like normally when I think of like a pumpkin flavored thing, like it's always like a big part of the flavor. But honestly, like the pureed pumpkin itself, like if you put it in something, most people won't even notice.
Yeah, especially if you mix it with other stuff.
Yeah, it's not as like powerful as the flavor. You have to go hard on it if you want to like pumpkin pie is pretty much all pureed pumpkin. So
true. Speaking of cooking, have you seen? I think it's Selena Gomez has a show. It's like
I've never seen
a cooking show.
Who's that?
Selena Gomez she's like a singer, and she used to be a girl on Disney, one of those Disney shows.
Oh, she's Hannah Montana. Yeah, I remember.
Okay, yeah. I think she dated Justin Bieber or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hilary Duff.
I don't really know. No, it's not Hilary Duff.
No, that's her alter ego.
Oh, okay. I don't know that. But I never really watched her or anything. But I know who she is. And I think I know her more from her music than I do from anything else. But anyways, she has a cooking show. And basically, it's kind of neat. I've only watched a couple episodes, though. So take this with that in mind. But it's a unique take because she basically doesn't know anything about cooking. So, because of the quarantine and everything, she can't leave and get cooking classes. So she started this show where she goes into the kitchen and then she calls, FaceTimes a well-renowned chef that gives her tips on how to cook. And then they cook together over digitally or whatever. And they create something. So
one of those things that you can only do if you're famous.
Basically, yeah. But she makes pretty normal stuff that I've seen. I don't know, but I haven't followed through on the whole series or anything. But it was kind of a neat concept. I can't remember which platform. Might have even been, if you haven't heard of it, it might have been on HBO Max or something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. But anyway,
that's pretty big time to get on HBO Max.
True. I'm sure it's something that her PR person was like, "Hey, let's do this." She's like, "Okay, I have nothing else to do."
That's super cool. I've been having a lot of boba recently too.
Okay,
that's another Asian thing that I've been
That's
on.
the tea, right?
Yeah,
we gotta talk about the boba because I ordered with my sushi. I ordered some boba tea, and I was like, but they had the option of not putting the balls in there. But then they're like really pressing me on the balls, and I'm like,
"No, you got it. Come on, you got it."
We have our special
artisanal tapioca.
Yeah, basically. I mean, they were like, "It's famous. We're famous for this honey, whatever," and boba, and I was like, "Oh, all right, put it in there."
Wait, hang on. You? Okay,
I'm not a boba
I know
lover.
what the issue is.
I don't.
Go on.
The texture, I don't like it.
Well, hang on. Did you get the popping kind?
I don't know because I never put one in my mouth. So
how do you know what the texture is?
Well, I just remember, and they're slimy and they're weird. I don't want to suck up a ball in my drink.
Slip in, and they slip down your throat.
No, this is awful. Even thinking about it. So, and then here's the thing. I couldn't use the straw because I was like, if I use the straw, they're 100% it's going in my mouth. Well, yeah. So I just drank it
That's what it's supposed to happen.
No, I drank it I let all the balls fall to the ground, fall to the bottom, and just drank it from like a regular cup.
What if one touched your lip?
Well,
what would you do?
I just I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I was just thinking...
Freak out, drop the cup?
Yeah, maybe. I was just thinking, I'll just push it away with my tongue, but then that made me shiver. So I was like, I don't know what I'd do. I don't know. They're so weird. I don't know. I don't get it.
Hang on. Do you sip, if you're sipping a drink, do you sip with your tongue over the lip?
No.
Okay. Just curious.
No, I just thought, if it came up, I could just, instead of using my lip to push it away, I would just, move it with my tongue. I don't know. But I don't want to think about it anymore, so... Anyway.
So if I, handed you a boba and you just had to slurp up, 2 or 3 of the balls...
No!
And just... experience it as a whole unit.
No, I'm actually shocked that even I was peer pressured into that because normally I'd say no, I don't like it. Stop. No means no. But but for some reason I was like, you know what? I'm feeling experimental tonight. I'm trying my sushi for I tried different sushi that I never tried before. So I was like, hey, yeah, sure, whatever. But then I was like, never mind.
And you saw it and you freaked out.
Exactly. And then I didn't drink all of the tea right away. I just kind of drank half of it and then left it. And I even put it in the fridge. I was like, I'll have the rest later. Came back to it and all of the balls had kind of disintegrated and liquefied in there. And I was like, ugh. So I had to throw the rest of it away. But
because you were like, I can't have non-solid balls.
No, it It was bad. I
thought
know.
the whole thing was the texture. If it dissolves, then it's fine.
Well, because they're still chunks. Because it doesn't all dissolve. It's just, and then it looked gross because the balls were dark and the tea was light. And so
what about ones with pudding? Like they have ones they refer to as pudding. I mean, tapioca's pudding, and that's what they're normally made of. Okay. But they're like, it's like a jelly. It's like if they put like strips of Jello into your.
Oh, I don't get that. I don't understand why people feel the need
to
combine.
It has a little like different flavor. Like you sip on you can get ones that have like a watermelon flavor, and then you get a drink that has like a honeydew flavor, and they're like complementary, but they're like, you get a little bit more of the drink one sip, you get a little bit more of the watermelon cheese.
Here's the thing: put them on the side. Have it like a dessert or something. I don't know. Here's the thing: do you like those? It's like an ice cream, but it's called Dots. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like those super chilled balls of chewy ice cream.
I don't know what they are, but nasty. I can't handle those either. So something.
Wait, but like, what's wrong with those?
They're horrible.
Because they're like chewy.
They like. Well, first of all, they stick to your tongue because they're like, it's putting an ice cube in your tongue basically. So that's uncomfortable.
Like dry.
And there's like hardly any flavor. It's a painful experience for very little enjoyment. I just don't understand.
How do you feel about mochi?
I don't mind mochi. It wouldn't be my first thing that I grab, but I don't mind it.
Okay. I saw a recipe for mochi as well. It was interesting. I didn't think I never in my wildest dreams figured I could just make that at home. But
true. It does seem more complicated.
It looked so much more possible once I watched somebody else do it.
Do you have to have a mochi ball mold?
Not really. I mean, you just have to be able to form like a ball of ice cream. So I think the person just used their like ice cream scooper and just, kind of made sure they molded out like a little ball of ice cream. And then you just make sure the ice cream's super firm. You freeze it like really good, so it's hard. And then you basically roll out, like you create a dough essentially that's like the outside of the mochi. You get that a little warmer, so it's a little bit more like plasticky, and you just like take the balls out of the freezer really quick and like roll them up in the dough and like pinch them shut.
Okay.
Throw it all in the freezer.
That's one way to go.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Speaking of ice cream and sweet things, Easter, best candy, go.
Reese's.
We are
the Reese's
so
egg.
connected. Oh, okay. Just kidding.
What do you mean?
I thought we were going to be in sync there. We're close, but not quite.
What's wrong with the egg? You gotta. Well, you said Easter. Like you can have Reese's anytime.
Okay. Well, wait. What kind of egg? What do you mean? What does your egg look like?
Like there's that little one that's shaped like an egg, and it's basically just a Reese's cup, but it's shaped like an egg.
Oh, okay. See, yeah, I thought you were going there. That is like not the right. What is it called? Like ratio of chocolate to peanut butter. There's almost like too much peanut butter in that. So my favorite is the Reese Piece eggs. They're so good.
Reese Piece eggs?
They're only come out for Easter. It's the only time you can get them. And it's the perfect ratio. It's so good. So that's my.
Are they more peanut buttery? I would imagine.
To be honest,
or like whatever that filling is. I don't know. Like what's in a Reese
I don't know,
Piece
but there is a little bit more. But it's almost like you can't. It doesn't taste like too much, like a Reese cup would. It's like. It's the perfect blend of flavor and the perfect size. Because, Reese Pieces are kind of small. And these are just slightly bigger. And they're in little eggs. And they're like
I feel so like good. Reese's, like with Oreo, the only right answer is a double stuffed Oreo.
Thank you.
Like the more cream, the better.
Okay, well, mega stuff's a bit much for me. But double stuffed is like the perfect amount. A lot of people don't like that, though. We're going to get hate. Because
here's the thing, I take apart the double stuff and I put two double stuffed. I quad stuff.
Then you are a mega stuffer.
Yeah, I know.
Do you like mega stuffed ones? Do you ever get those?
I think I've had them like once. I think they're less fun because you can't make them yourself. And if you make a double mega stuffed, it's kind of like, well, I can only have one of these a day.
Oh yeah, true.
But yeah, they're good. I think at that point it turns more into cake or something, but
oh yeah, probably.
But here's the thing with Reese's, I feel like I love both parts of the ratio so much that it could go either way. Like I could have like a Reese's thin if they have that, or I could have like the big cup Reese's. It's like all peanut butter with a little bit of chocolate around the outside.
Oh yeah.
Or I can have the Reese Pieces, or I can have the cereal. Honestly, like any kind of Reese's,
I know.
I'm down.
Reese's are good. They are. I agree. They're probably the best candy out there. I don't know.
I've seen these Reese's eggs. You're right.
Yeah, and I just found out that you can buy them on Amazon. A 4-pack, a 4-pack of 10-ounce bags.
Go for it. It's probably year round too.
Oh, you think?
I don't know.
The only thing I worry about buying food on Amazon, I'm like, what's the expiration date on these? I always worry about...
I mean, you'll know when they get there.
I know, but I always worry it's going to be like from last year or something. I don't know.
Really worried about it?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, there's a whole like segment of Amazon that's just food. It's like a grocery store.
I do know that, but
the pantry section.
I wonder if I'm kind of in the minority or the majority, but do you have, because it's kind of a blessing and a curse, but you know how you really like something that only comes out for a limited time once a year or something like that? Like the s'mores ice cream that I like that only comes out in the summertime, or the Reese eggs that only come out at Easter. I don't know.
Yeah, or the like Thanksgiving sandwiches that are only around Thanksgiving.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
The turkey gravy and cranberry sauce.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I like the pub.
You can always get them though year round at Pom Poms, Mama Ling Lings.
Can you really?
Represent. Yeah, it's honestly one of the best ones too.
I've never heard of that place. So
Pom Poms. Tea House.
Oh, the one like near Fashion Square.
Yeah, like Bumpy area, and then there's also one near like UCF.
Oh, really? I didn't know there was one over there. Okay. I didn't know that. But that's
get them on
like, why are they making that a staple food there? I don't.
It's just like one of their best selling sandwiches, I think. Oh, on Pumpernickel too. Oh, so
you know, I can respect that. Like, you know what really ticks me off is when there's like a best selling item at a restaurant, and then they do that. They say, oh, it's only seasonal.
They're like, oh, it's seasonal. Got to build hype.
Oh, it's so annoying. Like, you know, I don't know if Panda Express is everywhere, but
I think it is.
You know, it's basically like a fast food Chinese place. Is it Chinese or just Asian in general? I don't know. It's like Chinese food, but they make you know, like orange chicken and whatever. But they make this sesame chicken only for like a couple of months out of the year, every year, and it sells out immediately. Like the second it comes out, people are there. It sells out. You go there to go get it, and nobody, and they don't have it because they ran out because everybody wanted it.
Sesame's got to be in season.
Come on, really? Like, why don't you? This literally is your best selling. Well, probably not best selling. Orange chicken is by far the best.
Yeah.
It's the best. I mean, it just does.
I have to imagine that they sell like on a factor of like 2 the orange chicken to like every other chicken.
Sure. But it's definitely up there with like the second or third most sold product they have, I'm sure. So I just don't understand like why they don't do it. And also places that take items off their menu that clearly a lot of people like, you know? Why would they even make that choice? I don't
that
understand.
That is weird. Like who did that recently?
Taco Bell with the potatoes.
Yeah, that's true. They took out the potato tacos and stuff.
They brought those back though, because of because of all the hate.
They got backlash and they brought them back. Oh, that's interesting. I think also another part of that was one of their only like quote unquote like vegetarian options.
Right. I know. Well, I mean, you could just get no meat and you get beans instead, but still.
Yeah, but like they had I think the 7-layer burrito is a pretty good one. I think that one doesn't have meat. It's like a super hefty burrito that's like meatless just naturally. Like you don't have to exclude anything.
Oh, yeah.
But then, also the potato ones, though I think you do have to remove the cheese on those if you're going vegan
true.
At least. Although I'm pretty sure, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they put some butter on it.
Oh, who knows? That's probably true.
I don't know. Probably use oil actually, but can't tell you.
Yeah, it's hard to know what you're going to get fast food, but...
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you know, the all-time worst one.
What?
The all-time worst one was Pizza Hut taking off their balsamic glaze. And just generally, they had a whole custom pizza tool that, like, you could... They were like... It was like a big thing. They were like, oh, you can go in, you can pick the kind of crust you want. You can pick a glaze. You can pick, like, all the toppings you want. And it'll be, like, $10. And... I had never eaten so much pizza in my life. Like, every time I went somewhere, people were like, oh, I want to get a Pizza Hut with a balsamic glaze. Oh, yeah, let's do it. And I think the only thing they kept out of that was like the crust.
Really?
And even then, like, I think they don't always have the stuffed crust.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes they have the stuffed crust, which is, again,
who
wouldn't want to have stuffed crust?
I was going to bring that up because back when I was in college, Pizza Hut came out with this like twisted stuffed crust pizza. It was like this crust that was twisted and it was flavored and it was stuffed. And it was the best pizza I've ever had. It was so good. And I don't know, it just like disappeared one day and I never brought it back. So I'm like, was I the only one? Because I'm confused. But I know, like right now I'm not eating pizza. And what sucks too is when they take away the thing that you like because it's seasonal, quote unquote. And they don't tell you when they're going to bring it out or when they're not going to bring it out. And then they bring it out when you can't eat it. And it's like, what the heck? So this is happening with me right now in Little Caesars because
like, quick, Lisa can't eat it.
Exactly. I'm like, what the heck? But Little Caesars has a pretzel crust pizza. And they come out with it like once in a while, like, and then they'll take it away and then they'll bring it back. And you never know. It's unpredictable.
When is it there?
I know. And then so I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to eat like certain things right now because, you know, I'm trying to like rationalize or ration my unhealthy eating versus healthy eating. And I'm only focusing on certain things. So I'm like, okay, pizza is like kind of a no-go right now.
It's like plate of cheese, maybe not.
Yeah, like I'll have pizza next month or a month down the road or whatever. And of course they come out with it. And I'm like, oh. And so every time I see it on the commercial, I'm like, I want it, but I have to be strong.
And
I have to remember, you know, they'll come out with it again. If it goes away before my pizza month, then I'll just have to wait until it comes out again. That's life. That's one thing.
But will it?
I don't.
Will it ever come
true.
out again? I've never seen the balsamic glaze. Never seen it again.
Oh, that's true.
You know what? I should learn how to make balsamic glaze.
Well, why don't you just buy it at the store? Because I buy it and I put it on my pizza all the time.
Like balsamic or balsamic
the glaze?
Because it was.
Yeah.
You have a glaze?
Oh yeah, they sell it. It's so good.
Well, I should do it.
It's called. It starts with a B. The brand that I get, but they have them at the store.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll try it out.
Yeah, it's so good.
Sounds legit.
It's legit. Yeah. So I guess we're on the edge of tomorrow.
Yeah, we are. Right about there.
Are we? I don't know. Oh, one thing I wanted to tell you about, which I don't know if the podcast would care about this or not, because it's kind of like...
Let us know, podcast.
Yeah, let us know. But I got a recorder. So it's like
you're like a journalist on the spot. Go out.
Yeah. So I can do in-person interviews now.
Or do you mean that you got one of those like... Do, 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 do.
You know, I probably still have mine from when I was in elementary school somewhere. I don't know. I probably do.
Do some crappy covers of John Williams songs.
You know, there are actual people that are masters of that.
Yeah, they're like, you're giving the recorder a bad name. How dare you?
That's true. You're shaming them right now. I do always think of recorder as being like the lowest of the instruments, but who knows? Like it could probably be pretty good. Speaking of John Williams, though, I started a whole new playlist on my my phone, whatever music app that's just musical scores like from different movies.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Those are good. Do you record them all with your recorder?
No. But wait, before I go back to the recorder. You were talking about calming stuff, and we've talked about lo-fi before.
Oh, yeah.
But I've been using that every morning when I wake up. Like, if I can't get out of bed, if I'm, like, struggling, I just turn on a lo-fi, and I'm like, look, it kind of, like, slowly gets you moving, and you're like, you can kind of feel it, but it's not too much. It's not too jarring.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a beat to it, so you're like, yeah. You kind of, like, jive out of bed. You're like, yeah, all right.
I like it. Sometimes it's a nice way to get me out of bed. But anyways, so the recorder... it records, I think it records 4 channels, but I really only need 2 probably. But anyway, so I was going to say, if we're ever in a circumstance where we might record in person and do maybe a face like clip for YouTube so that our YouTube followers, because they only get, I guess podcasts only get audio too, but they have to stare at a screen that doesn't move and listen to us, where I thought it might be kind of fun to do one video of an in-person thing.
Yeah, we could have a video podcast.
Yeah, just one of them like that maybe. And then, but if like we're ever like, what is it called? When you're I'm on the scene with Andrew and
like a
like a
on-site
broadcast.
recording.
Yeah, we're on site where we're shaking the news at you, which is just our news.
We're shaking the news tree.
I don't know, but let us know. Go to Instagram, go to Facebook, go to YouTube, go to the reviews of this podcast, and let us know if you would like that. And we'll work on it. I know we're not super responsible with our postings, but
responsible. How irresponsible we are with our posting.
We're trying. It's just really hard because we both have full-time jobs and we both have lives and we both have things we care.
Speak for yourself. I don't have a life.
Yes, you do. We had to reschedule this because you had a life.
Yeah. That's true. Oops.
So anyway.
Yeah, I'm supposed to know that.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. He's perfect. It's always me. It's always my fault.
Yeah, you had some dinner to go to.
That's true. I did have. Yeah, that's true. We both we both have lives, and sometimes things don't. Our extracurricular activities don't always function well on time. So we apologize for that, but thanks for sticking with us, and I hope you liked it, and I hope you had fun, and I hope you were inspired and entertained, and we love you.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, then that's coming from me, Lisa, the perfect one. So
this is what she does, everybody. This is This is where I fade myself out, and there you go.
Narcissist in the making.
So long, very well, pip, pip, cheerio, we'll be back soon.
That's a whole nother topic I can get into because I've been listening to this podcast about narcissism. Oh boy.
Big self-discovery there. You really
hey. Yeah, sure.
I love you. Bye-bye.